Hi everyone, how are we all doing today? Monica here with the monthly reading for November. And for this month I am using the Gentle Tarot. I feel like November is always such a crazy time out there, energetically speaking. I always pick up on that. And personally I don't like the way it impacts me. There's just something in the air about the month of November every year. It's not just this year, but I think this year especially. And so, when everyone rushes about and when everyone pushes more, I kind of go the opposite way and I withdraw a bit more and I bring in some gentle energy. And that's what this deck is for me. This is a very soothing deck. And so for my monthly reading, I am working with the Gentle Tarot. I love the subtitle, Heal Yourself, Heal the Earth. Because that's where we're at, folks, and that's what it's all about now. At least in my opinion. Don't think it's any more about, going to the moon or Mars or wherever else some people would like to go. In other words, it's not about the outer anymore. No, it's about the inner. For us collectively, as the human species, regardless of where you live. Okay, so as usual, allow me a few moments to shuffle the deck as I connect with spirit, to cut, and then we'll get started. And of course, I always start with a really nice cup of green tea. I love this cup. It's just a cheap, perhaps a bit tacky, generic cup, but you do make your magic. Cheers. Incoming energy. We've got the Five of Stones. Okay. And then we've got the Six of Wands. Gosh. Okay, I'll talk about that. And then we've got the Four of Stones. Right. Wow. In a nutshell, so this is the incoming energy for November. We transition or make a move from a mindset or an experience of lack, right? The Five of Stones to me, which is the Five of Pentacles, is a card of material hardship. Interestingly, I'm at the moment doing a tarot course with Julia Inglis from Sacred Familiar, which has been probably the most intense and transformational course I've ever done. But that aside, recently we looked at the Five of Stones or the Five of Pentacles, and she calls it the Exile card. When we're working with that idea of the exile and how we, not just how we have experienced being exiled ourselves, but how we exile our own intuition, our own creative outlet, our own, soul calling, and so on and so forth. So the Five of Stones, though traditionally in tarot, that aside, I think that's relevant, but that aside is very much perceived as a very negative card because it talks about, lack. It's a card of lack. It's a card of lacking resources, lacking finances, poor health, all those sort of things. So that's why we start off in November. But then look what happens. Look at this card and how vibrant it is right in the middle. This is the Six of Wands, and it's a card of victory and triumph over problems and obstacles. So the tarot is telling us that although we start off with a difficult environment or experience or circumstance, we're able to successfully overcome that and to transcend it. The way the lady is sitting on the eagle, to me, is very much a card of, it's got that feeling of transcendence and joy, like she's flying, she's free, right? Here she's got her head sticking in the water looking down, but here she's up in the air flying. It's like she's unencumbered by whatever problems the Five of Stones brings. And then we move to the Four of Stones, which is a card of, to me, like the opposite of the five. It's a card of material abundance, similar to the Nine of Pentacles, but that's like an even higher octave, if you like, or higher level. In the Four of Stones, we have what we need. We're stable. Number 4 is a card of stability. It's a card of good boundaries. It's a good foundation card, like you're supported with the Four of Stones. Okay. We are on land. Or perhaps just at the threshold of it. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes, but to me it seems like she is a bit of land, but I'm not sure. I will get the guidebook out, but regardless, I feel like this is a card of stability and having what you need. And also, I've experienced in the traditional Rider-Waite sense, the Four of Stones as being a card of successes in business. Like you're on a solid footing. Things manifest positively. I haven't experienced the Four of Pentacles or the Four of Stones as much as, like a lot of books talk about it being the card of the miser and being like really tight with your finances and your possessions and things like that. And in some decks, depending on the card that you get, that might be the case. It will be shown visually. But here, I honestly, if I'm to sum this up in a nutshell, I would say, yes, November will bring some difficulty or, in your circumstances. And for some, it could be financial. For some, it could just be poor health. For others, it could very much be, like on a psychological level, returning back to the idea of the exile. So, we got to acknowledge that's there. It's sort of baked in the cake, if you will, of life's experience. But that's not where we end up. We're not ending up with that. We're ending up with the Four of Stones via the Six of Wands, which is a card of victory. It's so beautiful. I'm just going to pull the last card, which is the focus card, and I will very quickly have a look at the guidebook. And I don't want to have a look at the guidebook to start off with, because I often feel that as wonderful as guidebooks are, and many, many decks, including this one, have fantastic guidebooks. And I recommend if you get a deck like this, you do get the guidebook for it, absolutely. As wonderful as guidebooks are, if you refer to the guidebook first, it will, to be honest, stifle your own intuition. Okay, so The guidebooks are an 8, but they're not the first thing we go for. First thing was we read with our intuition. And then we have the focus card, which is the 3 of stones. Gosh, so out of 4 cards, 3 are about pentacles, which is the earth. The earth meaning tangible things. For many people, that's money, but it's so much more than that. Yes, it is about resources, like physical resources. Earth is also about our senses. Are we in our body? Are we experiencing the world around us in our body? Or are we walking around shut off because of past traumas and we're not really in our body at all? We don't pay attention to what our body truly needs in terms of touch, sight, like sounds, which can be such a healing medium. Not just not just sights and sounds, it's also taste. All right, what we eat, what we see, what do you feed your mind? So all the senses are part of the earth element. And the focus card and the 3 of stones here, what this card is about, what I'm getting from this card is joyous connection with others that builds something, the way that they have their hands up, and there's this peak behind them, this mountain. They're kind of aligned with that peak, and so that it's kind of like they're reaching for something higher. So it is a card of community and, being connected in the earthly sense with your community. Now, the focus card, I will also refer to the Rider-Waite-Smith, because the 3 of Pentacles is very much a card of mastery in one's vocation, one's career. That's when you start to achieve recognition for your abilities, for your expertise, for all the hard work that you've put in over years and for some decades, in arriving at a place where you're being seen as a master of your craft. Okay, so that's the focus. And I think that the focus card is basically highlighting to us that we gotta be keeping our focus on our vocation, on our work. What's really calling to you to do with this one and only and precious life. I do have some experience of that, Let's just say that for me personally, it wasn't writing sterile reports for managers that achieved nothing. That's just my experience. And no matter how well paid that was, ultimately I wanted so much more, because I knew that there is so much more. I wanted something that feeds my soul. I don't care how cliched or corny that sounds. Oh, and I wanted an authentic line of work, is what I'm saying. So allow me a moment. I'll have some more tea and I'll come back with the guidebook and see if anything pops up. Okay, so very quickly I'm going to quote from the book for the Gentle Tarot. And I just want to have a look at a couple of cards. The first one being this 4 of Stones. Oops, excuse me. The key phrase for the 4 of Stones is, I protect my body, my space, and my identity. This card asks you to take a close look at your boundaries as you walk your path towards living a life you love. Honoring your truth, one of the most important things you can do is protect yourself. The view is not always clear, and people/energies on your path are also not always clear. Oftentimes you may struggle with clarity within yourself, but if you stay true to what is meaningful to you, knowing how you need to protect yourself, you can better navigate all parts of the journey. Who you are, what is important to you, and what you choose to believe in should not be dictated by another person, by society, or by your family. Your sense of self is sacred, and feeling safe and secure within yourself is integral to your experience on this earth. This most often means protecting who you are and learning to manage what energy enters your sphere, as well as what energy is kept out. And she goes on to talk about the art symbolism, that the figure is in a stream, basically, and this is cotton, fields of cotton flowers, and that this is like this person's safe place. Okay, and I think that's just so beautiful. And the other card I wanted to look at is this beautiful focus card for us, the Three of Stones. And the Three of Stones, the phrase for this card is, I honor my life and my path by receiving support from others. That's so beautiful. Is there anything more beautiful than co-creation? Coming together, we mobilize ethereal powers and engage in an age-old exchange of moving spirit into the physical. This card affirms, you are supported in your efforts. Teamwork is sacred. The figures are fully at home and in harmony with the earth element. Their legs, abdomens, and backs are livingly covered in fresh mud. Their feet are rooted through an umbilical cord-like connection to the earth. A volcano is active, symbolizing creation and birth of a new earth. I just absolutely love that, because I feel like right now that's where we're at collectively as a species. I mean, I suppose you could say we've always been at that, you know, at co-creating our earth, and of course every generation has been, but I kind of feel like this gathering of momentum to do so consciously and in sacred relationship with our earth, as opposed to, you know, mindlessly, you know, co-creating, or unconsciously co-creating, I should perhaps say. So anyway, yeah, what a beautiful reading for November. And so I hope that this reading has brought you some guidance and help, or perhaps just some inspiration and hope. As always, thank you so much for being here, and until my next video, take care.